Ever heard of a chair that can kill you? Because this one just might. Nestled in the tranquil landscapes of North Yorkshire lies an eerie relic, the infamous Busby Stoop chair. Legend has it, 18th century murderer Thomas Busby cursed this chair before his execution. And ever since, anyone who dared sit in it faced instant death or misfortune. In today's episode, we will look into the curse of the Busby Stoop chair. Standing in the outskirts of the town of Thirsk, the once prominent Busby Stoop Inn holds a grim history that stretches from the summer of 1702 to the present day. This inn, known for its role in the illicit coining business and tales of treachery. During the late 17th century, Daniel Whitty, a coin clipper and forger, sought refuge in the quiet hamlet of Kirby Whisky, a few miles distant from the Busby Stoop Inn. There, hidden from prying eyes, he continued his nefarious operations of clipping the king's gold sovereigns, establishing a farm near the edge of town. His farmhouse, perched atop a small hill, provided an ideal vantage point against unexpected visitors. Local man Thomas Busby joined forces with his father-in-law Whitty in the illicit coining enterprise at the farm. Reports suggest Busby, a brawler and inebriate, returned home one fateful day to find Whitty seated in his favourite chair. A quarrel ensued, leading to Whitty's ejection. Legend claims that Whitty threatened to take his daughter Elizabeth away from Busby. Thomas Busby, driven by rage, bludgeoned Daniel Whitty to death with a hammer. In 1702, Busby was tried, condemned and hanged. As Thomas Busby marched toward his grim fate, he supposedly cursed anyone who dared occupy his chair. Whitty's farmhouse transformed into the Busby Stoop Inn, with the ominous spectre of the chair's curse emerging. Busby's curse was no idle threat. Locals whispered of its deadly power. Across generations, the Busby Stoop chair sowed fear and dared the brave. The locals, gleefully coaxing others to sit, never ventured to tempt the curse themselves. Karen Rowley, a former landlady of the Busby Stoop Inn, recounted in 2007. Managing the pub for 7 years, the locals remained fearful of the chair and its curse. I once glimpsed a towering, armless figure with an indistinct visage on the upstairs landing. It sidled sideways and vanished through the wall. I was utterly terrified. In 1894, a local chimney sweep and a companion came in for a drink at the Busby Stoop Inn. Exiting the pub late, having sat in Busby's chair, the chimney sweep slumbered by the roadside, only to be discovered next morning, suspended from a gatepost by his neck. Officials ruled his death a suicide. Adjacent to the inn stands the historical Skipton on Swale Airfield, once home to 4 Royal Canadian Air Force squadrons during World War II. Airmen who dared sit in the Busby chair reportedly never returned from bombing missions over Germany. Tony Earnshaw, unperturbed initially, took ownership of the Busby Stoop Inn in 1968. The chair's curse, once dismissed as superstition, began to unnerve him as he observed a series of fatal incidents. Before becoming landlord, Earnshaw overheard 2 airmen from a local RAF base daring each other to occupy the chair. Both met their demise that very day in a car crash. Another tale involved a group of builders goading a young labourer to sit, only for him to later plummet to his death from a rooftop. In 1978, a brewery driver sat in the chair during a delivery, extolling its comfort. Hours later, the delivery driver met a fatal accident. Earnshaw, disillusioned, asked the Thirsk Museum to take the chair, under the promise it would never be sat upon again. The chair now graces the museum's wall, untouchable for over 4 decades. Yet, the intrigue persists. Was it truly cursed, or just a string of eerie coincidences? Dare to sit. Or will you heed Busby's warning? Sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. Beware the Busby Stoop chair, because you never know. It might be waiting for you. This concludes today's episode of the Paranormal Report. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a like and consider subscribing to our channel. It is your continued viewership and support that makes it possible for us to continue producing interesting and informative videos like this. The team here at the Paranormal Report really appreciates your support.